Norway says that COVID-19 vaccines may pose a risk for the very old and terminally ill. That's after it reported 29 deaths linked to the jabs by Pfizer-BioNtech. Authorities explained that the deaths are related to elderly people with underlying health conditions. Thailand says that it won't rush a vaccine rollout until the vaccines are proven to be completely safe, while the Philippines says that its emergency authorisation for the Pfizer shot remains. Let's speak to Sanjaya Senanayake. He's an associate professor at Australian National University's Medical School. For more on this, Sanjaya, let's start with Norway. What are the possible reasons for those deaths? Is coincidence involved at all?
It certainly could be. We know that in residential aged care in Norway, that 400 people die every week because this is a very frail population with chronic medical conditions that can tip them over the edge. So it could purely be coincidental. We also know that 10 people who were very frail in Germany died within 4 days of receiving one dose of the vaccine. And again, they all had chronic conditions and some were even palliated. So this could all be coincidental. Another possibility is that some of the milder side effects that young people might get or younger people might get with the vaccine, so a bit of nausea, vomiting, some fever, could make an elderly frail person a bit too sick and tip them over the edge. But let's wait and see what the Norwegian authorities conclude.
Sanjaya, experts have reassured about the safety of vaccines, but still many have doubts. Can you tell us what causes this fear?
Look, I think specifically with the COVID vaccine, it has been the speed with which the COVID vaccines have been developed. It's been absolutely extraordinary and wonderful and unprecedented how quickly this has happened and how many vaccine candidates are out there. But certainly we know that the phase 3 trials will often go on for a year or two rather than just 3 or 4 months before we get approval. So I think that has had some people concerned, even though the phase 3 trial data we've seen so far is very robust. Also, we're seeing some new technology. So Pfizer and Moderna are using an mRNA vaccine. We've never had a commercially available one of those before, but again, they look very safe and efficacious, but people might be a bit nervous because it's new. And on top of that, in the background, you've got all these conspiracy theories, microchips and Bill Gates monitoring you after you get the vaccine, etc. And some people do cling on to those beliefs.
Well, in relation to that, Sanjaya, and in relation to the accelerated vaccine development process then, is that wariness, apart from those conspiracy theories and wariness in general about vaccines, is it a legitimate issue, though?
Oh, absolutely. So it is definitely an issue that this has been a faster process than ever before. So prior to this, the quickest vaccine that ever was developed from start to finish was mumps, and that took 4 years. However, having said that, this has been a very open process in terms of the vaccine trials. Regulatory bodies around the world have been able to view and analyze the data, and they would not proceed if they didn't think it was safe. But that is why some people are concerned. But at the same time, it has been a very well supervised and open process.
So what then do you think that authorities and medical community practitioners as well could do to combat these concerns, to keep people safe from dangerous diseases like COVID-19?
Look, immunization has been one of the most important interventions we've had in preventing disease and deaths, particularly in children, but in all age groups. And I think the most important thing we can do is education. Data shows that particularly parents of kids who are about to receive vaccines look to their healthcare providers as their most important source of information. So at the ground level, general practitioners, family doctors, and nurse practitioners will be really important in pushing that agenda. But there was one study which looked at measles and the MMR vaccine. They had 4 interventions. One was giving the scientific basis for why the vaccine did not cause autism, then textual information about how dangerous measles was, some photos of children with measles, and then a single case study of a child who had measles. And interestingly, the vaccine-hesitant parents became more resistant rather than less resistant to the vaccination. So in other words, there's no easy solution. It's a challenge, but education and being open and transparent about the COVID-19 vaccination process is key.
All right, Sanjaya, thank you very much for that. Sanjaya Senanayake there with Australian National University Medical School. Thank you very much.